So I've been kind of putting this off because I didn't know exactly how to approach this, how to say things. And it's like 1 o'clock on Monday night, Tuesday morning, as I've sat down to record this. I apologize in advance if I get emotional. I tend to do that quite often, and it's become a joke. I make jokes about it, I'm crying all the time. I'm a very vulnerable and I think honest, transparent. I think I'm really confident in saying those words really apply to me. And that's why I need to take this moment and be vulnerable and honest and transparent with everybody. So Saturday, I got a last minute offer to go wrestle for River City Championship Wrestling, and I took it and had a good time. And I said some see you laters to a lot of my friends up there. Sunday, I drove to the Ascend show in Des Moines and said my see you laters to a lot of friends there as well. The see you laters are because we're closing in on a month now that I tried out. I went and had a tryout in Ankeny with the band on hiatus for their rhythm guitar and like some backup vocal kind of position. We all hit it off pretty well, and they basically said, you know, if you're down, man, like we didn't realize they thought I lived in Waterloo too, so they didn't even realize I'm driving 2.5 hours for practice, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, man, I just want to play music, so I'm in. My see you laters are because this weekend at Hayes Days, June 14th for LPW, it is my last confirmed wrestling date for the foreseeable future. I'm wrestling your boy Andy, and that will be my last match for a while. This was a difficult decision for me to make. My moniker is Resident Rockstar, and since I came back to wrestling 5 years ago, the white pants, the cutoff sleeves, the white vest, that's what I've been wearing in the ring, and that's also what I was wearing on stage for almost 4 years before that, playing music with my band Sick. I had a clothes that I wanted to wear, dress the part that I wanted to play. That was why I dressed the way I did. It had nothing to do with I couldn't afford gear. Like, no, that's just me being me. That's part of kind of why this decision was hard to make, but I also made the decision, is me being me. Music was my first passion before everything else. Straight out of high school, like my buddy's graduation party, we created a cover band, and we did some covers of like Bowling for Soup, and I think they did a My Chemical Romance song. All I know is like I did one song and then I forgot the words halfway through, and then I was like, I don't think I could sing anymore. I think I threw out my voice. But in reality, at the graduation party, I just got so scared shitless after messing up the words that I'm like, I shouldn't be in front of people. But I always wanted to be. And then it was around 2008 or 2009 here in Owine that I actually saw the band Gravecore in its first iteration playing at the Dancing Lion here in Owine. And when I saw those guys up on stage, it was a local show, so I was up close and personal, and I'm seeing these guys dressed in like heavy makeup and fake blood and dark colors. Obviously I went with white, but I'm like, man, I want to do that. I should be up there. And I watched their frontman, Corey, and he was just going crazy. He was full of energy, and that was what inspired me really to want to play music. And since that, I pursued music. Ironically, I didn't find any success with music until it was close to 3 years after I was done with wrestling the first time. I started training in 2010 to be a professional wrestler. I was 21 at the time. I reached out I had to Google it. I'm like, pro wrestling in Iowa, where can I learn how to do that, or train I have no idea how to do any of that. And the two things that popped up was 3X Wrestling and Impact Pro Wrestling. I sent an email out to 3X Wrestling. They said they weren't training, but they knew that IPW was still doing training, so they said to reach out to them. So I sent them an email immediately after. My dumbass, I sent them like a video package of like me being stupid with our backyard wrestling crap that we used to do as teenagers. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be what they want to see. That's gonna get me in the door. I started training with IPW. I was driving 2.5 hours from here in Owine to Algona. A couple things kind of all happened at once. Before I completed training, me and my girlfriend at the time, we split up. And then I also ended up finding out I was going to be a dad. So at that point in my life, I had money because I was working 2 jobs, but I myself didn't have a car, and I couldn't afford to get a car at that time. So I pulled back from wrestling because I didn't have a car, didn't have a way to get to practice, to training, and now I had a child on the way. So I stepped away, reluctantly, mind you, but I also didn't have any other options. And I focused on being a dad. Then I also started talking to musicians again. I started to find friends in the area that were playing music, and all of a sudden the music thing started happening. I just really focused on that. And then in 2013, it was November, it was the 25th, I played my very first show live ever here in Owine at Dave's place. And I think it was a fucking Monday night. But that was the first time I ever actually played music. And once I got the taste, like I was the front man. I just did the vocals. I didn't have a guitar or an instrument on me at all. And I was just free to roam and reign, jump, and do whatever the hell I wanted. And I never felt more at home than in front of people doing that. And then between then and when I started my band Sick in 2017, I had various other projects. I was just playing music that whole time. I never stopped playing music. When I started Sick, I actually learned to play guitar and to sing because I was tired of other projects falling apart. I was only ever the vocalist, so it's kind of hard to have a band when all you're doing is singing. So I learned how to play guitar out of necessity, and then I started writing some simple stuff that I could play and sing. And I was learning by playing other songs, namely bands like Seether, like their writing styles and their chord structures, a lot of that. And not only was it easier for me to figure out as a guy who had no idea what he was doing, I also liked the music. So that was a big influence on me when I started writing for my band Sick. Sick started in 2017. It was me, Devin, and Brandon. We started the band together. Like that was the first official lineup. We eventually added Will on bass, and that was our full lineup. We played a few shows as a full lineup, but then we were all done, I think, the end of September in 2018. I kept playing. I started creating tracks on a computer, and I kept playing my music because that was what I wanted to do, was play music. So if there was a way, I was gonna fucking play music. So I made backtracks like bass and piano and drums, and then I still went and I played the guitar and I did the vocals for the songs that I had written, and then also learned a bunch of covers of songs that were more my upbringing and also things that I liked to play. So I had a niche crowd, so I just kept playing solo shows for like the next year and a half, and then 2020 happened and the world stopped. It was sometime in May. During when everything was shut down, I got my tax return, and then everybody got our stimulus checks. So I was sitting on a chunk of money. So that was when I was finally able to buckle down and get my own reliable car. And then I still had this money, and I'm like, but I can't play music. And then I thought about wrestling, and that was what gave me the itch to potentially reach out. So I reached back out to IPW about their next training class because I knew I never finished training. They told me that I was already trained, or so many words, and if I just finished my tuition that I owed from back, 10 years prior, that I could start coming to open gyms and, get back in the flow of things. Once I started wrestling with like rugged pro wrestling, and with hanging out with Austin Fouts, and then the family of people that I grew to know through that is when I became officially the Resident Rockstar. And wrestling became everything I focused on. It was fun. I was seeing a new crowd. I was seeing so many kids. I was helping, get people with special needs out of the house to come find something local that they had never seen, but they thought it was so cool. And even, at this local level where it might not matter to a lot of people, or hell, there's even guys in the back that probably don't give a shit, and that's cool, man. You keep dreaming, keep shooting for the stars, and I hope for the best for you. But being a superhero in these people's eyes, giving them that hope, just as the guy from Owine, that was the coolest fucking part about being a wrestler to me. It was never about, fame or fortune or the bitches, because I can promise you, I have none of those 3 things. I guess I'm hometown famous, but none of that fucking shallow stuff. ever mattered to me. It was all about performing and knowing how shitty life is for so many people. And I'm one of the lucky ones that doesn't suffer from like fucking clinical depression or, crippling anxiety. All, things that keep people down or scared or just, they don't want to be here anymore. And I've wanted to be that reason for those people. So I kept doing that with wrestling. But this whole time that I've been wrestling, I've played 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years. And that's really been this growing void in my heart. So when Tom from On Hiatus reached out to me, he's like, hey, we're thinking we might need another guitar player. Would you be interested? I was giddy as hell, but I was also like, no way, not me. And then I'm like listening to the music. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm your guy. I don't think I can play these complex chords. And he joked with me. He's like, we're pop punk, man. Complex chords, never heard of her. I was even hesitant about taking the opportunity to try out, but I also never said anything publicly. I made the post about being reached out to, but I never thought, that this was going to happen. When it did happen, it happened very quickly, but I'm having the time of my life doing it. And I know people have been like suspicious or curious or questioning. They've seen posts or things of me like saying I'm my see you later, so they're asking what happened. Like, nothing happened. I'm fine. The shirts aren't hanging up, but I just realized, yeah, I'm fine. I am. I'm good. I'm doing really well. I knew if I didn't take this offer, at least try, I would beat myself up for a very long time. So like the breaks that I've taken from wrestling have never been like recently. Obviously when, I didn't have a way to get to training and I was going to be a dad, I made that choice to be a dad. I made the responsible choice and I've never looked back. I love my kid to death and they'll be there. That's also part of the bittersweet stuff with this summer as well. Like I'm saying goodbye to a lot of you guys. I guess not goodbye. It's see you later because I will be back. It's just going to be a while before I see a lot of you. My kid's also leaving the day after this weekend on Sunday, the 15th. So they'll be there to watch me wrestle for the last time. And then they're going with their mother for approximately a month and a half. I won't see them until the end of July at the earliest, I believe, is when they have decided on. So it's a lot at once. Besides that, like the first time I had to take a break from wrestling, it wasn't my choice. I had other people that were trying to fuck with my life, and I missed out on about 4 months of wrestling, and I had to be away from you guys, and that fucking sucked. And then I got to come back, and then we were on a hot streak, and then June 20th last year I broke my rib, and I was out for, I think it was about 2 months altogether, but I couldn't wrestle. But once I was capable, I was still hanging out with you guys, so it wasn't as big of a break. But I wasn't able to perform for you guys. I was just being a ring announcer, but I was still able to hang out. So I didn't quite have to say see you later at that point. And then most recently, when EWA and Rugged Pro got shut down, then I had to be away from you guys for, I think it was a whole month before I wrestled again. Then this opportunity came along, and I'm taking this break, but I'm taking it on my terms as opposed to something or someone else stopping me. And I think that's part of what makes this harder, is that there's the emotions, that I'm choosing to step away, to walk away. I'm not walking away, it's just a step back. I'm taking a step back. Wrestling has afforded me so many friends and so many people that I now consider my family between that locker room and that audience. And I got to say see you later to a bunch of the RCCW guys. And I got to say see you later to a bunch of like the Rugged Pro EWA and now the new LPW family guys. I got to see a lot of them Sunday at Ascend. And then I'll be saying my see you laters to whoever else can make it this Saturday. And I know there's people that I'm not going to get to say you later to. The band that I'm joining, it's called On Hiatus. Saturday will be the last time that I'm in the wrestling ring for the foreseeable future. And I hope, if you can, because it's a free show, it's from 3 to 6 in Hazleton, Iowa. It's out at it's a big strip of land in the middle of town. You won't be able to miss it. And they've had us set up in the middle of all that, so it's probably dead center in the dead center of the dead center. I would really just like to see your faces, to say see you later, because you all mean the world to me, and I mean it when I say I love you guys. And I would really just like the opportunity to say that to your faces instead of through text. Like, I didn't want to make a text Facebook post about it. Like, I felt like that was the least Adam way to go about it. And I can't do it in person. I can't do it at a show. Like, we don't have time to announce it beforehand to try and get you guys there so I can see everybody. So I really hope, if you can, this Saturday, June 14th, Hayes Days, come to Hazleton and help me say see you later, and give me the encouragement that I need to know that you guys will still be here for me, and that you don't feel like maybe I'm abandoning you. Because I think that's part of what's making this so hard in my heart, is that I feel like I'm making this choice to step away to do something fun, but for me, so it feels selfish, and I hate feeling selfish. But if you guys know me, you know that I do all of the fucking things. The comedy, the improv, the acting, the karaoke, the hosting the karaoke. If it's something that I can fucking do and I want to do it, I'm gonna go do it. This one just hurts because I have to say goodbye to you guys for now to go do it. So, fuck! I hope to see you on Saturday. I hope we have a good time. I hope you come cry with me and say see you later, because it's not goodbye. I promise you, it's not good fucking bye. It's just see you later. I love you guys, and I mean that. And I will see you soon.